When you get excited, when you get prepared, when you get ready for a college football season, you start looking at the calendar. All right, what are the great non-conference matchups early in the first 2-3 weeks of the year? All right, how about as we get deeper into conference play? Give me those traditional rivalries. But now in this new era of the sport, we've got some conference games that stand the test of time even in their first year in these leagues. And Joe, as you get ready for a new season, you circle the big weekends that you expect to be there, even as teams move up and down in the rankings. And that is still Saturday, October 12th. That is still tomorrow, and that is still week 7 of this 2024 college football campaign. It does not get better, perhaps, than what we have tomorrow night in prime time under the lights inside Autzen Stadium. It is number 2 versus number 3. The second-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes on the road in Eugene against the third-ranked Oregon Ducks. A 3.5-point spread now in favor of the Bucks. The Ducks have not been a home underdog since the 2018 season. So, Joe, I ask you, we call this game of the year 2. The first game of the year designation we gave was for a top 5 tilt 2 Saturdays ago in Tuscaloosa between Georgia and Alabama, and it lived up to the hype. Will tomorrow night inside Autzen Stadium as well?
Yeah, it's so funny, Ben, because the market perception of these two teams could not be any different. You have Ohio State, who guys, let's be honest here. Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall, Michigan State, and Iowa. Not exactly the who's who of offensive juggernauts in college football here. Ohio State has not been put to the test in any way, shape, or form by anybody yet. In the meantime, Oregon, it seems like everything is life or death. Every game that they play comes down to the wire. But you know what? They're at home, and they're getting points. They are undefeated, just like Ohio State is. So I don't get it. Don't forget, Dylan Gabriel a year ago was with Oklahoma, and guess what he did? Game-winning drive to end up beating Texas in a big spot, in a big moment. And yet, here we are, Ohio State, not being tested by any real offense. This is the biggest offense, the biggest test Ohio State is going to have. I think that's a huge ask to them being a favorite to go to Oregon and win that game and cover, because the hook is available. I'm not buying it. I think Oregon holds serve and wins this game.
This year, Ohio State is 3-2 against the spread, of course, favored in all 5 games. They have been favored by at least 17.5 points, and they have covered in both of their 2 games so far in Big Ten action. Can't say the same for Oregon. They are 1-4 against the number. They have not covered in a Big Ten battle so far this season. And, Joe, you mentioned Oregon, and I would say they have been better up front the last 2 games. They have held both Michigan State and UCLA to 60 yards on the ground or less. But who is an offense, at least rushing attack, you could compare to Ohio State? To me, it's Boise State and it's Ashton Jeanty, who put up 192 yards in week 2 and 3 touchdowns. Ohio State's got a pair of backs in Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson alongside Will Howard, who has scored in both Big Ten games as well, 4 consecutive games on the ground, and albeit some great playmakers on the outside in Emeka Egbuka and Jeremiah Smith. Ohio State is the best scoring defense in the country. They're one of 3 programs that ranks top 10 scoring total, offense and defense. That's points per game scored and allowed, and yards per game accrued and allowed as well. But, Joe, it's a really interesting spot as well as we compare these 2 teams. Ohio State is the favorite to win the Big Ten at -115. Oregon has the second best price. It's really where these 2 teams entered the year. It's where they stand. They are 2 of 4 teams at a -800 price or better to reach the college football playoff. Will both programs be there at the end of this season?
I think that's what makes this year a little interesting, is because whoever loses this game, it isn't the end of the year and a chance for a national championship, because ultimately I do think both these teams will be in the college football playoff with a chance to win it all. It's a great litmus test, I think, for Ohio State more than Oregon. It's a huge ask in a place, Ben, that has been known for big home field advantage for this Oregon team. Proven quarterback. This is a tough. If Ohio State wins this game, wins it convincingly, they are a serious contender for a national championship.
Listen, this is a big moment for Ryan Day. It's his 6th full year at the helm in Columbus. They are 61-8 under Day, but all 8 losses against ranked opponents. They're still 18-8 straight up against top 25 teams, but just 9-7 against the top 10. So 7 of those 8 losses under Day against a top 10 foe. Third-ranked Oregon inside Autzen certainly lives up to that billing. Speaking of home environments in primetime, not many more difficult places to play than Death Valley and Tiger Stadium at night. LSU with Brian Kelly, 11-0 straight up in night games in Baton Rouge, and yet they're getting points as well in a top 15 tilt against Ole Miss tomorrow. Is the right side favored?
I don't. Yes, the right side is favored. Ole Miss is the better team, and listen, LSU has a very good offense. But you know what? Ole Miss's offense is better than LSU's. And you know what Ole Miss has? A really good defense. You know what LSU doesn't have? A defense at all. They are atrocious, and they're going to give up 1 trillion points in this game. If it wasn't for Kelly and LSU coming off a bye and his previous record coming out of byes, this number should be closer to a touchdown here. No way am I backing LSU. I don't care how many points they're getting. Ole Miss is the better team on both sides of the ball. They'll show it again against a extremely weak LSU defense.
Ole Miss has been the favorite in all 6 games. They had the hiccup in a large way against Kentucky 2 weeks ago, but they have covered in all 5 of their wins. Much better defensively than LSU is this year. 6 of the last 7 games have combined for at least 61 points between these two teams. Total 62.5. The rest of the Saturday slate next. Live right here on the early line. It's a football Friday. That's more than the NFL. It's a Saturday slate in week 7 around college football. Dillon Gabriel leading an overtime game-winning drive last year. And what game was that? The Red River Rivalry against Texas at the State Fair in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. But now it's an SEC showdown. Number 1 Texas, 14.5-point favorite against 18th ranked Oklahoma. It's a top 20 tilt. It's a rivalry game, and it's more than a 2-touchdown spread. Joe, how competitive does the Red River Rivalry look tomorrow in Dallas?
Well, Ben, this is, Ben, as you know, I have been to many of these games at the Cotton Bowl over the years, going all the way back to when it was a great Big 8 battle. I can tell you this, no matter what you think and no matter how bad one team and the other is, throw it all out the window for this game because anything is possible. Having said that, Oklahoma's terrible. They have, I believe, every one of their wide receivers is hurt, Ben. They're missing 5 injured wide receivers in this game. We also have a freshman quarterback here that I have no idea what you're going to get for him for Oklahoma here. I mean, Jackson Arnold absolutely went to the wayside and completely disappeared here this season for this team. They are very good defensively, which is what's going to keep them in this game here, Ben. Quinn Ewers back after the oblique injury, but it's not like they went through a gauntlet to get here. UTSA, UL Monroe, Mississippi State, yay. Every one of them's terrible. Texas has one good win against Michigan, and that was back in September on September 7th. And Michigan ain't even that good. So I do think this is a big spot for Texas here. They need to not only win this game, Ben, they need to win it impressively, I think, moving forward. So it's too many points for me in this kind of game and what the history is between these two teams. But they better win this game, Texas, and win it convincingly.
For sure, Joe. But it's going to be difficult to do because, as you mentioned, it doesn't matter how bad teams look or what they appear to be on paper. This is the Red River Rivalry, the 120th all-time meeting on Saturday. The first as SEC foes, but 9 of the last 10 decided by a single score. In fact, 5 times in the last 12 Red Rivers have we seen a team lay double digits, and this is north of 2 touchdowns. Those double-digit favorites are 0-5 against the number. It's hard to win big, and it's hard to cover a 2-touchdown spread in the Red River rivalry. Short number tomorrow in Los Angeles. Can USC bounce back after a disappointing defeat last week in Minnesota against the Golden Gophers? And can Penn State keep it rolling? A 5-0 start for the 4th time in the last 4 years. Can they make it 6-0? The Nittany Lions just over a field goal favorite in the Coliseum. Joe, how do you break down the matchup between the Nittany Lions and the Trojans?
I can't think. This is, I've dubbed this the battle of the 2 most overrated head coaches in all of college football, people, because that's exactly what you have here. Neither of these guys are worth their weight in any way, shape, or form. However, Ben, you had said it. We saw this 5.5, and we're now seeing, what, 3.5s in the marketplace? So the money is certainly coming in late here on USC, and why not? We could not have been less impressed with Penn State against UCLA last week. They didn't even rush for 100 yards in that game. Now they got to fly out west and take on a USC team that has a ton of offensive talent here. I do think that 5.5 was way too much. I also think anything over a field goal, I think you got to bet USC here. I do not trust this version of Penn State. The market overvalues them every year. I think even more so this year, Ben. And you've seen what I've seen from them. I don't like what I see from Penn State. I don't trust them.
They have not covered in both of their Big Ten games so far this season, although they did beat a ranked foe in Illinois, winning that game by 2 touchdowns, but they were a 3-score favorite. Kansas State and Colorado. Listen, CU is one of the most bet-on teams to win any conference crown, and it's to win the Big 12. They're off to a 2-0 start. They're a home underdog tomorrow, now only getting 3.5 in Boulder against K-State. Quickly, Joe, can CU pull off the slight upset tomorrow against the Cats?
Who cares? Give me the over. Cash the ticket and go away. That's it. Just give me the over. No defense.
I think it's a very, very, very smart point.